Welcome back, and this is episode 192 of the Bench Time podcast with Todd and Brett Wiley of Wiley Scale Modeling.
Hey!
Hey, what's
Here
up?
we are. I was listening to our podcast a couple times in the last month here, and I realized that I always start the after you do the intro. I always make this weird freaking noise, like, hey, oh!
I know.
And I sound like a moron.
Well, we don't want to tell you that. It's kind of like
I get that.
Yeah, you're just kind of like that guy, the special guy on the show that they just let do their thing.
Yeah, I get. You're right. The one that wears the helmet.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's like Guillermo. You're like the Guillermo on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, that guy. That guy.
We just kind of let you do your thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyways, so
got you back now. You went on vacation, and we couldn't do one last week because you were away.
Yeah.
Living it up at the beach, and
barely.
Yeah,
but it was an interesting vacation.
What do you mean interesting vacation?
Well, I was supposed to fly.
Oh yeah. That's right. It all got canceled because of the update.
The software update. That software update that canceled everyone's flights, canceled yours truly's flight, and like 8 hours, 10 hours before we were supposed to fly out. And
that's nuts.
We were gonna go to Florida. Well, we went to Florida, but 10 hours before our flight, I tried to book another flight, couldn't get a flight out. Everything was crazy, and I looked at my wife and I said, "Pack the car. We're driving to Florida." And then we drove to Florida. 15 and a half hours later, we made it to Florida.
I guess you did the right thing, man. I mean, It would have cost you a fortune otherwise.
Well, we already paid for it.
Canceled. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, yeah.
But we would have lost money.
Okay, yeah.
So it was either that or lose the rental.
Save money. You save money.
You
still save money.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have to get a rental car. I didn't have to pay for bags, all that crap.
Yeah, and you got your money back on your flight.
I didn't get my money back because I used points.
Oh, well then, okay.
I got my points back.
Oh, you got your points back too?
Yeah, and they don't expire for a few more years now.
Oh, okay. Well then, hell, it worked out.
Yeah, I know. I got like 3 more years on my points.
Thanks, whatever company it was. I can't remember what the hell the name of it was.
Thanks, CloudStrike.
CloudStrike, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
assholes.
So no one really wants to hear about that. But I was working on the Westboro Sandhouse in the meantime. I do need to get some foam on the layout, some ground foam base. Like ground some base foam. Base foam.
Yeah, base foam. We'll get some.
But I did move the layout, and I cleaned that whole area out. Now it's against the wall. Hey, what?
It looked really good on Sunday when we were out.
Yeah. And it's against the wall, ready to roll. Got everything ready to go. Dioramas are on there. I don't know if that's where they're going to stay permanently, but that's where they're at. Worked on the Westboro Sandhouse a little bit. This kit's not easy. It's fun, but it kind of reminds me of. I mean, it's not as bad as the Campbell's kits, but it reminds me of like that style kit. Where it's just a lot of little pieces.
Yep.
And it's a lot of cutting. You got to do a lot of cutting.
Sure.
So, it's not like a newer kit where there's a lot less. A lot of it's already cut for you or pre-ready to go.
Yeah.
This is kind of it's kind of a hybrid where most of it, the walls and stuff are already pretty cleaned up and ready to go, but a lot of the lumber you do have to hand cut. So it's kind of a mix between that and the old school kits.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it kind of takes you old school, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
It's always fun to do it on a more of a well, how should we put that? A back to the roots kind of modeling type of thing, you know? I like that idea. You know, sometimes we take for granted that now there is 3D printing. Now we have lots of special laser cutting's been around a while, but what can be done with laser cutting now is a whole new ball game.
Right.
So details are different, and we take for granted the amount of detail that gets put into stuff now because the technology is there to do it, and it's kind of fun to go back to a kit that has it, but you still have to work it a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
I like that.
So, I like that. That's kind of what I have. I had to like I said, I removed my workbench around too because I had that party this past weekend.
Right.
This folding table's back, but workbench is back in action and we're ready to roll.
Yeah.
Well, not right. We've been rolling, but what I meant was for a 24-hour period, I didn't have a workbench, but it's reset up.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you got? I know you've been sending me some pictures of your
oh man,
your work there.
So I got grapes. I got rants. Oh my gosh. Huh?
I said I'm ready. Oh, we did on our trip do something I haven't done. I don't think we ever stopped at one, but we went to a Buc-ee's in the South.
Yeah, you were saying about that. That'd be kind of cool. I've never been in one. I know you and I drove by one in Texas, but we didn't stop. Or there was one at one. I don't think we didn't see it, but I saw it on my Jeep. Driving, yeah. But
it was so we did two different stops at the same Buc-ee's. We did a 3 a.m. stop, and we did like a 3 p.m. stop at Buc-ee's. And I'll tell you one thing: the 3 a.m. stop was a hell of a lot better than the 3 p.m. stop.
Oh well, yeah, it wouldn't be nearly as crowded.
I don't know. There must be 120, 130 gas pumps there.
That's crazy. That's so crazy, man.
At 3 a.m. there was maybe 10 cars there, other than employees.
Oh yeah.
At 3 p.m. every gas pump was filled. The whole parking lot was full. And this is a parking lot that's like the size of a supermarket, like a grocery store.
Yeah.
It was packed. We went in to go to the bathroom. It was a zoo. It was crazy.
My goodness.
But I got some beaver nuggets. And I got some beef jerky, and we got some roasted nuts and brisket sandwiches. So we did the trip right, and we pulled the roadside tourist attraction and went to Buc-ee's. But really, at the end of it, once I thought about it, all Buc-ee's is a really clean truck stop for families.
Yeah, I figured that's what it was.
But it's genius because right across the highway is a Flying J, and if you got a car full of kids and your wife, where are you gonna go?
Yeah,
you gonna go to the Flying J or you going to Buc-ee's? Yeah.
So you going to Buc-ee's, so you can spend a fortune.
It's because you got to get the kids a Buc-ee's something, and then you get out of there and you're like, all I wanted to do is piss, and we just spent $80. It was the most expensive piss ever.
You've been better off going over to the Flying J, man.
I swear, you could probably eat off that bathroom floor, though. That is the cleanest bathroom. Oh, and you like this, because I know you hate public restrooms. We don't need to get into that.
I hate them.
But you would love this.
I sometimes would rather dump in my pants than use a public restroom. I can't kid you, man.
You're the kind of guy you're the kind of person that'll gamble on rent. I can make it home kind of thing.
There's reasons for it we won't get into tonight. But
no, you don't need to go into that. But you would have liked this. You would have liked this place because every stall for the toilet was its own room, not just a cubicle thing, but it was actually built in as its own room with a door, like a real door.
Oh my goodness!
And they were all tile on the inside. Like every toilet was an actual room, not just a regular stall.
Well, if, maybe you're gonna stay a while. You ate the Buc-ee's chili.
Listen, I just paid $80 for this. I'm going to take my time in this toilet.
Oh, man, I've never been to one, so...
Well, if you do get a chance ever, you got to stop because it was a wild experience.
So how was the gas prices there compared to other gas stations?
The same.
On the way down. I mean, you're on 95, so you can pay anyways.
Buc-ee's was actually cheaper gas. It depended on the state. Like, Florida was about the same as Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah?
But,
wow.
What's that?
That's outrageous, the gas. And
then, the Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina were a little cheaper, I think, than PA.
Right.
So.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It was. And you had a good time. That's all that matters.
It was a good time. Yeah, we had a great time. We went over to St. Pete Beach on the Gulf side and just chilled. It was awesome.
I didn't do anything. But.
Well, you've been working.
Well, yeah. True.
So what have you been working?
But yeah, I mean, I've been keeping busy doing that stuff. I mean, I'm trying to get this diorama done. I realize now that I bought all this stuff to make this diorama like something that I envisioned, and I want to get it back into the model railroading. But the problem is, I'm not going to cut this thing short. I want this thing done, so I'm going to have to do both at the same time, and that's going to have to be it. I was like, I could put it away, but then I might stop, and I don't want to stop, and it's been going real for me. Now I'm picking it up, and I have all these other details and things I haven't even gotten, to open up. I didn't even open up and look at them, and I want to get to them, and now it's the fun. I'm getting back into the fun of this. I finished we didn't talk about that yet since I finished it, I guess. The cafe itself is done. Okay. So while you were gone and in between the last 2 weeks, I finished the cafe. I added vines going up the front side. You could catch them on the on our Facebook pages with up-to-date photos, and I did. And I put vines up the side, and I put the picture up for that, and then I put it up like 2 days later. I decided I was going to I made these purple flowers hanging down, which would be, what do they call it? Wisteria. So it hangs down off the vines, and like you see in a lot of Europe, like eastern side of France during World War II, or if you go into the port cities along the Mediterranean, on Italy and Sicily, and Venice, some of the buildings and stuff, they have the vines going up the front side of the building. And then it has the wisteria flowers with purple and white and stuff hanging down. And I wanted to do that. I saw it done on a photograph from another modeler, and I looked into it. This is how it's done. This is how I made those flowers, and it's tedious. But okay, you buy the flower. The little from model railroading. You can buy the little packets of colored flowers. It's basically fine ground paper, okay, in pinks and reds and greens and purples and stuff, okay, for flowers, okay, whites, blues, and we have a bunch of different colors. I know that you have some down there in the boxes more down there, and what you do is you put them in a little tiny plastic container. And you take your 12 millimeter a single strand in a tweezers of 12 millimeter static grass. So 12 millimeters a long piece of grass. However, it's short when you're picking it up one single strand with a pair of tweezers. It's tiny. So I had a little separate plastic container with white glue, and I just held it in the tweezers and dragged it through the glue, and I took it over to the container that had the paper and dipped it in there, and then shook it off, and then laid it on a paper towel to dry. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And that's how I did each and every one of those little things. Okay? That was fun. I mean, it was tedious, okay, and and then sometimes if you didn't pick up enough paper, You wait till it dried, and then you drag it through again and get a second coat on it. Makes it a little. You can make some of them a little thicker. And then when they're all dry, then you pick them up with a tweezer again, and you put one end of it on the back side of it, on one side on the back at the top. You put, I guess it really wouldn't matter top or bottom, and you hang them, put glue on them, and you hang them very precisely where you want them on those vines that are on the side of the wall.
Yeah.
So they hang in groups. You want to do groups, and you want to do a couple random ones and stuff like that. But until it was all done, it really wasn't all that hard. It just took a lot of time. Okay, so you're getting them up there, and all of a sudden one of them falls off. Then you're like, you know, and you're trying to pick another one up with the tweezers and stick it up there again, replant it. But once it dries and you let it sit, you don't over rush it. Everything sticks just fine. And then you just gotta walk away from it. And go, okay, let it dry. Don't touch it. Don't move the model. And then you come back an hour or two later, and it's permanently stuck there. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Turned out nice, and they look pretty hanging from it.
They look awesome.
I was gonna put more on, and it's just like anything else. You go, okay, you know what? That's enough. If I go too nutty, it takes away from it.
You stopped at a good point.
Right, exactly. And so yeah, I did that. And I hung some laundry from a clothesline. Everybody was asking me.
You aired out your dirty laundry.
Yeah, well, I bought some 1/35th scale laundry from. It's made to hang on a line.
You probably could have had Mom just cut you some fabric.
Well, we thought about that. I talked to her about that, but it wouldn't give the same look. It wouldn't get the 3-dimensional look the same because you don't get the tiny folds and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because it's a piece of our size cloth. Okay, it's not scaled cloth.
Yeah.
It's just cloth. So you don't get the wrinkles on on a shirt or the folds and things like that. And I hung a pink bra, and I hung them from the line out the window. So yeah, I did the laundry. I bought those pieces. I was like, I'd like to hang some laundry, but how am I going to do that? I saw that on a photo as well. And I was like, let me look it up. So I found a couple places on eBay that were selling them, and they were companies that I don't know if they exist anymore or not, but you can still get them out there. I think the one I got you can still get.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the name of the company was even that had it. I threw the package away. I need to stop doing that and start writing it down or saving the paper thing at the top of the bag. But they're just resin cast.
Yeah.
So somebody 3D printed them and stuck them in a bag. But it gave it some life and I put it up. I got a lot of comments on it and I stopped. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. That's it. I put a couple signs in the window. Some French signs. I made sure they're French. I made a chalkboard, a 2-sided chalkboard, like a sandwich board that stands up on its own.
Yeah.
In front of the thing. It actually, I went online and I found a chalkboard French menu from some other cafe that's in modern day, and I printed it, shrunk it down. Well, I put it on I saved it, the photo from Google in the photos, and put it on my program I use and shrunk it down on the computer, and to the point where I would cut off. It shrunk it down to where you could barely read it anyways. It just looks like white scribble on a blackboard because it's 1/35th scale now, right? So, but on the far right-hand side, it had all the prices with the euro symbol.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that ain't going to work for World War II, right? So, I cut that part off. And and I had fun with that. That was a lot of fun. But now I got all these other detail parts, and I'm really into it. And you know what that's going to be? That is going to make me want to really do a lot of those details we have for our HO scale as well. And because we got tons and tons and tons of details to paint, and now I'm really, really into it. Into the detail painting for little parts and things like that. And since we have structures done, and we're going to be working on the railroad, on the layout, and the city, we have a lot of our, like we said before, we have a lot of our structures ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going to obviously add more, but now it's a time to focus on building the city and making those details that I have in boxes and stuff sitting around here that I've never done.
Working on the other stuff.
Not the scenery, not the trains, okay, but the actual little detail parts. So I'm going to get into that, and I'm really excited about that because I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah, no, that's going to be the best part.
Yeah. I worked tonight on a 1/35th scale cafe visitor. She is a female French patron that sits in a chair, and I'll talk to her. I'll talk about her in a little bit.
Talk to her?
I'm going to talk to her. She's going to be our next guest.
Gotcha.
And she's plastic, and she mumbles a little bit, so we'll have to just be careful. But anyways, I painted her up, and I have a gripe about that, and then I also painted a French waiter that pours wine out of a glass and out of a bottle into a wine glass. I worked on him. I got him done. So I have a bunch more figures to go for this, and I'll be popping them up online here just to try and let everybody see some new stuff in a larger scale. And I'll talk to everybody a little bit about that as the podcast goes on here. But that's what I've been working on.
Sweet. Well,
yeah.
You said you have a gripe that you wanted to talk about. What was your gripe?
Oh, you get into gripe. It's on that female figure I painted, right? So, okay. So, I bought this thing called Cafe Visitors, 1930s.
I know what you're going to talk about.
Huh?
I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I already wrote to you about this on a text tonight. Okay? But this is made by Mini Art. They make Mini Art makes a lot of really cool figures and details and things for 1/35th scale military modeling or any 1/35th scale modeling. But it has all the oddball things like a bakery cart and with bread and stuff like that on it, which I don't have. But just as an example, all these different figures, and they also do models of tanks and vehicles and such as well. Anyhow, I needed some patrons to sit out at cafe tables in front of the cafe, correct? In front of the French cafe. So I got this set because it has a waiter. It comes with 2 tables, 2 small tables, and then it has a female with a dressed to the nines, all dressed up. She has a mink around her, a mink fur around her neck, and then her dachshund dog, and then there's a male 1940s era figure at another table with a wine glass, and they're supposed to be toasting each other or whatever, and the waiter's pouring the wine. Okay, the photo on the box looks great. Now here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with the casting per se, as it is portraying what it says on there. Okay, right. Two patrons and a person pouring. They're very well detailed for the most part. Okay, they give you a lot of the details that you see there, but take this into account when anything you're buying on some of these models is the photo on the front. Well, it's not really a photo; it's more of a painting, a graphic on the front that is a painting. Okay, it's not the actual model. It's not some model that somebody made and then they put it in the photo. Right. It's just somebody's rendition of what they think they could make it look like on the. So I'm thinking it's going to be cast like that, right? And it is. 90% of it, 95 or 98% of it, in fact, is cast in the details that they have. Mm-hmm. The woman has a hat on. It's one of those ones that covers the backside of her head like a I don't know, like a soft piece of cloth that covers the back. Yeah. I don't know. And then it has a little fancy doodad on the top. It's
It kind of looks like
It
kind of looks like what women would wear if they got out of the shower and put their hair in a towel wrap.
But then
The top of it's more decorative.
Right, and then it had these little cloth flowers and stuff, according to the painting on the thing, and they stand out on top, and it's very decorative on top. Well, I dug it out of the box and looked at it, and I started putting the woman together because you got to stick her legs. You got to stick her legs to the torso. Mm-hmm. Then you got the top half of her body fits onto the bottom half of the body, and then you got to fit her head on, and her head's shaped funny because it doesn't have the hat on. It's only like half a head, and then it has the arms and stuff. You got to put all that together, sand it where you want so the joints fit right, and then any gaps you got to fill in. This is how it's done. Okay, with these kind of figures, the bigger figures. Okay, I got it
in one piece.
Yeah, I start painting it. I'm like, all right, this is fun. I'm getting the skin tone down for her legs and her arms and stuff. Even to start the base skin tone of her face, and then I looked at the hat that I put on, the thing that we were describing, and those details on the top, the doodads, the fancy doodads, weren't on it. They weren't on it. There was like a little tiny rise on the top of the thing, at the top of her head. It looks like part of just the hat. Okay, the thing that covers her head, like a towel, like a beach towel on her head.
Yeah.
Right? And had like a little bump on the top, and I guess I was supposed to paint that blue. And then the other part was like a plum color. The rest of it was a plum color, and then a blue thing on top. Then there were supposed to be these pink flowers that are made out of cloth or material or whatever.
They're not even there.
And they're stuck. Not even there. None of that was there. The blue and it wasn't even there. It was just molded like a round lump with a.
It was like
just a slight.
It was like you just put a small pillow on top of her head.
Yeah, it was awful, and I was like, okay, well, if I let it go, it'll be fine, right? Just put the blue on. I painted it. I kept staring at it, and then further on, I got with this other painting all the other details, and I kept looking at that hat.
It kept bothering you.
It sucked. It looks like poop, and I'm like, man, this has got to get. I got to do something. So I'm like, what can I do to make that look like that? So. And I'll put it up online when I did it. I sent you all the photos of how I did it step by step. Mm-hmm. But I took a sprue that I had left over from when I put that thing together, and I took the gray sprue and a hobby knife, and I took my hobby knife and lightly scraped the sprue and scraped some pieces off, tiny little itty bitty pieces. And then when you do that, it comes off and it curls.
Right.
Okay. So it curled, and that's what I was hoping for. And as it comes off, it curled into little curls, and I thought I could wrap around the head on the top and fit them into place and reproduce what I see on the photo. And then do it again, even smaller pieces, by cutting them down or even making tinier ones to make the little flower petals on the top.
Yeah.
Okay? And I was like, oh, man, I hope this is going to work. If I don't, because you're going to glue it. It's got to get... As you're doing it piece by piece, you got to glue it. So once it's glued, you're effing up the hat.
Right.
I mean, if you decide you don't like it and you got to peel it off, well, the hat underneath that you started with, the original one that you weren't satisfied with,
no going back.
It's boogered. If you sand it down, she's gonna be bald. Okay, so so I'm like, oh man, this is a risk. So I took the pieces, but no risk.
No reward,
gain.
Yeah.
No reward, right. So I shaved them down. I shaved these pieces down, and then I sprayed them with like a clear primer, okay? Put a little bit of a clear primer on them and just kind of let them sit on my glass top piece on my workbench here and let them dry out, right? Mm-hmm. And then I didn't want to put them on paper towel because I didn't want paper pieces sticking to them and to dry or whatever. So with the glass, it's nice because you can just bump them and they just fall. They come off if they start sticking.
Right.
So anyhow, then I carefully picked each one up and cut it to size with the knife. I had to put my visor on, cut it down the size and to the size I think that piece would be, and layered them to where it looked almost identical to that photo. and I was like a little nervous, and each piece individually, dipped it in a little bit of glue, and then put that piece in with tweezers, fit it all overhead, and I think I did a good job of duplicating it, and I'll let you all see it when I'm done, and I'll put the actual photo up as a comparison. And for the size of it, I think the detail came out really well.
Awesome.
It did. It turned out I was very, very happy with it. So that was my thing. Now here's my gripe. You put 98% of the detail into this kit. It's a nice kit. Okay, all 3 figures are nice. The tables and chairs are cool. Okay, even the little dog, and I had to assemble the little dachshund dog. I haven't even started painting that yet. He came in 5 pieces, so I put him together, and that took a while. But anyhow, the detail on it is very, very good. But why not just finish the detail correctly?
Right.
Leave one little stupid part out. Don't leave the one dumb part out, because it's gonna look dumb.
Yeah, her head
it's not
weird.
gonna be. Yeah, she looked. I'm not gonna say what she looked like. So because it'll offend somebody, I'll go there. So, but it just didn't. I couldn't get over the fact that all these companies can do this, make this fine detail, and this is one you couldn't do.
Right.
Now, the other side of me looks at it in a different way, and that is, what do we call ourselves in this hobby?
Artists.
Brett? Yeah. But what are we putting together? We're putting together makes us a what? A modeler.
Modeler?
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a modeler or an artist, whatever. Okay? So we're supposed to be able to put stuff together. We're supposed to be able to think for ourselves. We're supposed to be able to improvise and come up with new ideas and make it a little better or different. Okay? And that's all part of it. So rather than sit here bitch and gripe about anything, maybe I'm doing myself a favor and forcing myself to do something that I may not have ever done if it was perfectly done. I would never have taken that chance.
Right.
I would never thought outside the box to make it the way I wanted it. And that brings us back to what you were talking about. Well, a little bit. With the model you're building is, it's a little more old school than some of the ones that before, but it takes you back. It takes you back to the modeling skills that you need to do it the way you want it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to do this for I wouldn't have wanted, and you probably were the same way. Like, you wouldn't, if this was your first kit you were doing, ever, you wouldn't have ever even thought to do what you did with her hat. I wouldn't want to do the Westboro Sandhouse or a Campbell's kit as my first kit, or a FSM kit as my first kit, because I would hate it.
Yeah, that's it. Now, what I will say, here's the other gripe I have on these kind of the figure kits. Gripe 2 with the same kit on the same piece. I built the waiter, and his face turned out good. It did. I painted many other 1/35th scale faces, but they were always soldiers, right? So now I'm doing civilians. It's a little different, but a man figure is a man figure. It's easy to paint a man figure. You can F it up, and it still looks like a man's figure. Why? Because we're men and we're ugly. I mean, even if you're a handsome guy, you're still ugly and rough. It's still different. You have a more masculine jawline, and and the skin works differently. Your facial features work different on most male figures. Okay, so you can butcher it up. Obviously, you can do that. If you do the eyes wrong on these military figures, if you do the eyes wrong, they look like Casper the Ghost, the big giant white eyes, and they look like they're like zombies or something. So you got to work. You got to learn how to do the eyes. Okay, that's the key.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, the face, the lips, the nose, that stuff, the jawline, all that, it's easy. You can't mess it up. The only thing you can mess up on a male figure is the eyes. with the women, and you can even mess the skin color up. Well, not the color so much, but the painting of the skin on a male figure. You can make it a little rougher, and you get away with it. On a female, that skin has to be. It's different, and it's even different with real females.
Right.
If you look at it, their skin is softer and more. When we look at a female who's out, outside the house without her curlers in her hair and a towel on her head, right, and no makeup on her face. Okay, but when they leave the house, they're made up and they look different. Their faces, their features are softer and blended.
Yeah.
Okay, and wow, trying to do that with a little tiny paintbrush on these little figures is not easy. Female figures is a tough one, okay? I even have a book on how to do female figures. There's a whole book by AK Interactive just on that. I've even had to reference that as I'm working with this, okay? The problem isn't that. I can get the flesh smooth and do that. I'm doing it as it says. Here's the problem. The face on the photo, on the painting, on the front of the box, just like the hat, the face doesn't look like the 25, 30-year-old woman sitting at the table. The face looks kind of like Queen Elizabeth. And yeah, for you Brits out there, I'm sorry, but it kind of looks like Queen Elizabeth. It doesn't have the same. I'm trying to put highlights and blend them into like her forehead.
Wait, is that the graduation song? I think I just said the graduation song.
Yeah. Now what I'm finding is I can try and cut her jawline down, where right now it just looks like it goes right into her neck, and but you can cut the jawline down with paint by darkening it right on the underside of the jawline, and you can make the face look thinner. Okay, and that's what I'm going to try and attempt to do here. However, her facial expression that they have molded looks in no way, shape, or form resembles what that face is on that picture. There's no way. It was the same way with the waiter, for that matter. And don't get me wrong, it's definitely a distinguishable female human face. However, it looks like you could very easily turn that into a male face.
I definitely think I sang the graduation song.
I really think you did.
What's the Queen? What's that song they use for the Queen?
I don't know what the hell it is. Hail to the Queen. I don't know. That's not it.
There's got to be a song for the introduction of the Queen.
Man.
Maybe they just play Queen, like the Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. What?
Bring in the clowns. Man, we're losing all our UK listeners, man.
All 4 of them are gone now.
So,
I think they play Flash Gordon theme song.
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon! You know what I'm talking about? You know that song. As soon...
Yep.
I'd play it, but I don't want to get a copyright strike.
But anyhow, yeah, I'm getting it, figured out how to do the mink. The mink was scaring me more than the hat at first until I got to the hat. The mink that goes around her neck was kind of interesting because on their photo, it has a ton of little details. I'm glad it does on that picture because it allowed me to do color scheming and make it work. So I did that by putting a whole mess of different oranges and whites and browns on it to try and make the fur look like I don't think it's a mink. I think it's a fox. It's definitely a fox. It's
some
a fox fur. It's a fox fur around her neck. So I'm worked that, and I'm almost done with that part. All I gotta do is her facial features, and her shoes, and the wine glass in her hand, and we'll be done. So that one should be. I'll have that wrapped up maybe later tonight.
Perfect.
Outside of that, that's what I've been doing and working with. That's my gripe. My gripe is if you've already gone to the extent of making the detail look on a cast injected molded piece that good in all other aspects, finish it.
Yeah.
You know? Right. Or don't put that on your picture.
The British national anthem is God Save the Queen.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go. God Save the Queen. So, anyhow, that didn't work.
Well, thank God we didn't have to listen to that we got our own anthem. What?
So let's, I said he saved her for a long time.
Who?
So.
Oh, my gosh. No, I just was going back to it. Independence.
I know.
Never mind.
I know, I get it.
Anyways.
I get it.
Okay, all right. Terrible jokes. Yours was insurmountably more offensive than mine.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that tends to be the case on a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got that. That's pretty cool. I'm enjoying doing it. I got like 100 paint bottles laying over. That's the thing about doing figures. Whether you're doing HO scale figures, I've had the same problem, or 1/35th scale figures, or whatever size you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to do, by the way, I'm going to order and do a 1/12 or 1/10 scale human female figure, one of those fantasy figures or whatever, with the like they're posing with a sword or something like that. And but I found a place that sells them. I'm going to order one. It's all resin cast and whatever, and I'm going to paint one. There's two guys in my modeling group that I belong to, in my International Modelers IPMS, Plastic Modeler Society. I go to those meetings once a month, and this one guy, oh my gosh, he does incredible work, and I've only been to a couple meetings, so I don't know his name yet. Sorry, I can't help you there. But insanely detailed stuff. I mean, they say he's one of the better ones in the country with this. But I look at his stuff, and it's just every meeting he brings these things, and I mean, just super, super work. I mean, you're not going to display it at the. We have a library display going on this week at the library in our town in Camp Hill. And they're going to have a library display where the modelers can bring their models in and set them in the display cases and stuff for the weekend. And they're going to be manning some tables and talking to people there. But I didn't, but they told him not to bring one of those models because they're out and stuff like that, right? So it's
yeah.
But yeah, they don't want that. It's pretty provocative. But I'm not getting one quite that provocative, right? But but I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, this guy is amazing what he does with it. Because it's a big scale. You can't. There's no forgiveness with an HO scale figure. It's 80-20, right? It's an 80-20 situation. You can go 80% trying to get it as accurate as you can, and the other 20%, who gives a fuck, right? You don't see it. We talked about this the other week.
Mm-hmm.
So. You go to 1/35th scale, you got to be a little more precise, and you got to add that detail. It's got to be there. You got to see it, otherwise it looks garbage. Okay, but you still have some forgiveness. You can still get away with stuff. Okay, you can put less shading. You can put less shades into the folds of the clothing and things like that, and get away with it. Okay, but if you wanted to, that would bother me. But you can do that. When you go to 1/12,
there's no forgiveness.
Man, those figures are 8 to 12 or 14 inches tall. There's no forgiveness, man.
I was just looking at 1/10 scale figures. There's some cool ones.
It's amazing. On eBay, I found the guy on eBay. I'll even tell everybody they can go check it out and give this guy business. But his name on eBay is my email. Saved. I saved him. The name of his group is Inaudibly. INAUDIBLY. Go to his store, Inaudibly, and look up all his figures. Oh my word, it's insane. Well, that's where I'm probably going to order from. And I'm not giving him a promotion. I'm not promoting him because I don't know how good his stuff is. I'm praying to God that I do it that it is. It is good, but he has them, and I'm going to try one. But there's some amazingly detailed things out there, just really cool. I also have all these fantasy figure ones for gaming Been up here, made by Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. I went to the gaming store down here, my local gaming store. They got hundreds of them on the wall. I picked up some of the big ones like dragons and goblins and orcs and stuff like that. And I have like 6 or 7 of them up there, and I haven't started them. And they are also extremely detailed. They're not even as big. They're bigger than the 135th scale, but they're not as big, right? So I have those to do as well, but I'm enjoying that part of it. Now, like I said, there's no forgiveness. Once you get to as you go up in size, well, it's more of a challenge because every little brush stroke is going to be seen. This is where an airbrush comes in handy in certain steps of it. It's still going to require brush painting, right?
Yeah.
You're going to want to use your airbrush on some of that. But, yeah.
Man, some of his stuff is really awesome. I mean, it's all awesome, but I can see why some of the things he would not want at the local library.
We'll put it at the library for kids to see.
Like the sexy Daphne 3D printed bust.
Oh, yeah.
With a dog bone between her breasts.
Up her skirt, yeah.
What's that?
Daphne from Scooby-Doo pulling up her skirt.
Yeah, but there's a dog bone between her breasts.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's a biscuit, like a biscuit. So I could see why you don't want that at the library, but then he's got like the Godfather.
Yeah.
And he's got
Kate's remember from Fast Times at Ridgemont High getting out of the pool?
Yeah.
He's got them on there. He's got a Princess Leia when she was in chains. They have
well, I'm talking about for people that don't want to do like one with the boobs hanging out, basically. He's got other things.
They're fully clothed. Okay, there's not much clothing on them, but they're clothed. Now, on the other end of it, there is like some of the characters from Jon Snow from
he's got Batman, he's got everything on here.
With the dragons, Jon Snow, the series we all watched, but on HBO, Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
and he's there, and he has this wolf. They have him and his wolf there. That's one of them. That's pretty cool. And
so they had stuff from Highlander and Deadpool. Yeah,
and Highlander was pretty cool. Is that one dude with the long dark hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
So you don't have to do a busty woman. You could do an action figure too.
Right, going to. But anyhow, it's and I'm probably going to order that Highlander at some point too. But I mean, there's some cool ones out there, and but yeah, you don't have to do those. I'm just saying that there's some amazing ones out there, and it would be fun even if I just do one, just to say I did it. That's my thing. I just want to say I did it. That's why I bought these other things for our show and for our Facebook page, as I do these oddball things that aren't military modeling or model railroading. There is, like I said, I do have some aircraft. I have the gaming models. I mean, and I want to try the figure model. I want to try these different things. I have a Gundam up here as well, and I have a Star Wars model, some kind of one of those land walker things, you know. But I want to try these kind of models because it's something different, and I want to be able to show everybody there's, different modeling people. Yeah. There are different models out there. There's some amazing modelers, and you can learn from all this. Everything I'm doing, I'm picking up. I'm able to put into our city with modeling at some point with techniques and stuff. So yeah, it's cool.
Nice.
It's cool. Oh, I want to talk. I'm going to let you talk because I've been talking like crazy. But I'm going to let you go for a little bit on something, and then when you come back to me, I want to talk to people about online reference. Some cool things I found that I do with my online referencing, and I think it'll cover a nice little segment here tonight.
Well, so I don't have a ton, honestly, because I'm working on my Westboro kit, and I had my vacation and our party, and I didn't do anything the last week. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I tore my workbench down and put it back. That's what I did.
Okay.
So
this guy was on here, and we were talking about one of the gripes that I had was these paints by Mig and AK and stuff that especially the special effect ones, they don't tell you how to use them, right? Unless you, except for some of them, they have like a barcode on or whatever, a QR code. And yet the QR code takes you to their website and it explains it in a paragraph or two, or it sends you to a book you can buy, or you have to buy the book and do it. And I complained and bitched about that, and I got to thinking about that. After I did that show, I felt like a hypocrite. Why? Because I bought some of those books.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have a collection of them online that I read online or digitalized. Okay. But I also have some on my library behind me. Some of those AK diorama books that are big and thick. I have some books on tank modeling called Adam's Armor Modeling Guide 1 and 2. It's like a Bible for like armor modelers. Also, that's done by Adam Wilder. And then there's another one by that's called Armor Modeler's Guide. It was written by another guy named Shepard Payne. They call him Shep Payne. And he's another one that's like legendary in that modeling field. And I have some ones on model railroading as well. The ones from Dave Frary and Kalmbach and Kalmbach Publishing and such like that. So I'm a hypocrite to say that I don't like to buy the books. Okay, they are not always they're not the cheapest books out there. Okay, right. I'm not going to lie to you. You can find them used online on eBay and stuff like that, or on some of the book websites where you can buy them used. I guess Amazon or whatever. They'll sell them used too. And that's a good way to go. In fact, I bought some that way. But I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit today about how to make it easier without having to have a book. Okay? Yet still have a digital library, make it a digital library and save yourself money. Okay. So on Google Books, you have to get the app Google Books, or you can put it on your phone or on your tablet. I have it you can put it on your computer as well. Okay. So I have it on my computer. It's all digital. So you're using it through Google. They don't sell the MiG Ammo books, but they do sell the AK Interactive series books. Okay. They are cheaper. So let's say that book, the thick book example, is $75 for that 350, 400 page freaking diorama books that they have out there. They have like 6 or 7 of them. Okay. And they're expensive. Okay. But they are like awesome. Tons of photographs, just amazing detail on just about anything, the model. And you don't have to use their products to pull it off. You can use other products. It's giving you the idea of the steps they went through to get it that way. Okay, these are great books. Okay, however, for me to go out and buy them, it's going to cost me a lot of money. Well, I found a way through Google Books. This is one way I can do things. Go on to Google Books. I downloaded it and then pay for it for the digital version of those books. And they run those books anywhere where they would normally be $20-$30 down to $5 to $11
right
for a book. Okay?
For a digital version.
And those are books we're talking like 100 to 125 pages, somewhere in there. Maybe less, maybe 90 pages, but nothing really less than 90 on a lot of those books. Detailed things on how to do it. Let me pull it up and I can just kind of explain it while we're talking here online. Now, I found a way to make it cheaper. You may not like it. You may not like to do what I've done over the years, and this is how I earned a lot of my books. I've been doing this for a few years on Google Books. They also have model railroading books on there as well. Okay, from different people as well. I mean, and I'll read some of this off to you here. Go to my library, but the books they have for the model railroading, making urban buildings for model railways, modeling ports and inland waterways for model railroading, building vehicles for model railroads. I think it's a Kalmbach book. What do we got here? Weathering for railway milers, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on and on. There's a bunch more that I don't have.
Right.
All these interactive books, aka Interactive, the FAQ books, okay, the fact books. Those are the expensive ones I'm talking about.
Right.
You can buy them on there. They have ones. I have one, another one that wasn't as expensive, and that one is just purely on mastering vegetation and modeling, female figures. We talked about that earlier. So you can buy them online and buy them cheaper directly online, and it saves them to your library, and you can pull them up on digital
Oh, you can keep them on a tablet, or you can keep them on your desktop computer right by your workbench too.
Right. I have a tablet. I have my computer, and I have my phone. They're always right here around my workbench, so I can pull them all up, and then I can just turn my head and look and see what I'm doing and pick up the details. And a lot of these are in full color photographs, and a lot with small definitions. These finding step by step what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another one here, Flesh and Skin. Also, there's some AK Interactive magazines that I got. And those were like $3 to $5. Okay, cheap. And so there's a bunch of them. How to do metal, true metal figures like R2D2 or C3PO and those kind of things. Working with, painting chrome colored stuff,
Yeah.
Just all kinds of really cool stuff. And some of them I've never even tried. I've read them, but I've not tried them. So you can get a vast collection, and they're always available. They're everywhere you're at. You can watch. I actually read these. I downloaded them before we flew out on vacation to Las Vegas earlier this year. My wife and I went out there, and I knew I had a 4-hour flight or 4.5 hour, 5-hour flight to get out there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to download a couple of these, pull them up on my phone or my tablet while I'm flying. And I was reading on the plane with my tablet, and right there. And I just read something I wanted to read. Better than their stupid movies, or trying to connect to their stupid movies on your with your headphones. And what a pain in the ass that is, by the way. That's a whole nother gripe. But it's anywhere you go, you're taking it with you. Your library is with you. So here's how to save money on that. That's how to save money on Google Books or Google Play. Okay, there is an app that you can put on your phone, and it's called Rewards. Google Rewards. I think you're the first person that told me about this many years ago.
Yep.
Do you still do it?
Not in a long time.
Well, it sends you questions. It'll ask you. It's like anything else in the internet. It knows. Your phone knows where you went. Okay?
Right.
No matter what. So if I'm out shopping with my wife somewhere and I come back and there'll be a blue button, there'll be an alert thing on the app on my phone. It'll say, and you'll click it and it says, "Hey, new survey." So you can do the survey and it asks you a couple questions. Were you at this store? Blah 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 blah. Did you purchase something at that store? You may not want to give that kind of information out. Okay, I don't have a problem with it. They already fucking know.
Right.
What are you gonna say? No, I didn't. Even though you did, right?
Right. That's why you're already getting those ads.
That's what I'm saying, right? So whatever. So you're not telling them how much or what you're giving them. You're not giving them a credit card number. They already know you were there because your store came up there. I even went to other stores that weren't on the list, but the one next to it in a shopping plaza was.
Right.
And I didn't even go in that one, but it was there on that list, and that's probably why it mixed it up with your GPS. But I don't care. So I answer their stupid questions. It takes me about 5 seconds, and guess what? I earn anywhere from 10 cents to 65 cents.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't seem like much, but sometimes I'll get 2 or 3 of them a day. Okay?
Right.
And over the course of a week, now I'm already up to one of the $10 books in like 2 weeks, right? So I can use that money in my in my book. It's just money that goes to your Google account, and you can spend that money on the books or put it towards a book that you were looking at or saved in your favorites. It's so I have 28 different books, 28 of these modeling guides, and I've saved them over the years. Okay, and it's always there. And you can, instead, if you'd rather just pay for it, you can do that too. They're still, like I said, they're not expensive. They're not as nearly as expensive as if you try and buy them and have them sent to your house after you're paying shipping and everything else, right?
Right.
I love it, and it pulls up nice and big on my screen. I can zoom in and out on it. I can zoom in on a particular picture. Okay, it's you can pick a picture out, double tap it, and it zooms right to it. It's awesome. I love to do that. Now I found another one. Okay, so that's Google Play. That's one way to do it. Then I tried last summer. I tried this other thing online. Rather than getting subscriptions to modeling magazines, okay, sent to my house, and now I got a big pile of model magazines I'll never ever probably dip my hands into again after you read it, right? It said, sometime I'm gonna want to model something I saw in there right now.
Right.
You're not gonna. You're not going to model the turbine engine from a Mack truck, okay? Get down to every spark plug, okay? Somebody out there does. Somebody out there listening to us does. I guarantee you that. Probably a bunch of them. That's fine. I'm not going to. So that magazine is never going to get opened again after I read it, right? Now I got this big pile of paper, okay? That now I got my wife going, what are you going to do with all these magazines that are sitting here? No, she doesn't do that, by the way. I was just saying that could happen. And it may or may not have happened. So I was just saying, you don't have that problem. You don't have that. You don't have all that clutter sitting around. You just pop it up.
Yeah.
This place is good. These are digital magazines. I get them at a place called Pocket Mags, and I subscribe to the magazine.
Digital version.
On Pocket Mags. You ever been to Pocket Mags, Brent?
No, I've never heard of it.
It is awesome. I love it. I'll tell you what I have. I have AFV magazine. It comes 6 times a year.
America's Funniest Home Videos?
No, it's armored fighting vehicles.
Oh, okay. But it would have been funny if it was AFV, when Bob Saget came out of the magazine every Sunday and told you what was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be funny. A magazine on funniest videos. Anyhow.
Never mind.
These are some of the modeling magazines I subscribe to. Okay. And I'm subscribing for about 50% or more off the price of the subscription. Now, I don't give a shit if you do this or don't.
Right.
I don't care. Okay. So I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm trying to help you.
Right.
Okay. Once you get that magazine, whether you subscribe to it the following year or not, I get 12 issues this last year of Model Military International. Okay, great magazine, by the way. And I got all 12 issues. When I signed up, the 1 week I signed up for that, actually I signed up for a couple that week. I think I paid like $18 or something like that for the whole year. I got 12 of them. And then that magazine would normally cost me anywhere from $8 to $10 as subscription, and to go to the newsstand and buy it. All right, so I'm buying it for like $2-3. Okay, and then on top of it, that particular week, they run a special if you sign up for their email, or their email subscription, email newsletter, or whatever the hell they send you. And you'll get an email like every couple days, right? Yeah. Just like everybody else that you sign up for. But they'll run specials. So they ran a special. You subscribe to these magazines, and they give you the 3, before you even get your first one, they give you the newest one. The very first that day you sign up, you get that first magazine for that month. Okay? Then every month, the new one comes out, and it just goes right into your library. Okay, nice. And then you'll get an email saying your new one's out. Go check out your library. You go to it, and you go to the website or the app. They have an app too, and it pulls it up, and it's the same as the Google Books. You can pull it right up and read the whole magazine, blow it up on your screen. The whole works. It's nice. Turn the pages by clicking it, And but I signed up and I got 3 back issues from the 3 previous months.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 3 extra free issues, And these are full-size magazines, and some of these, Fantasy Figure magazine. I told you Model Military International, but I got Military Illustrated Modeler, Tamiya Model Magazine, AFV that I talked about before. AFV Modeler, that's a really good one. The weathering, there's some single issue ones that are out there that are specialized in just like weathering. Yeah. One's for weathering urban weathering. One's for water.
The nice thing is you don't have, like you said earlier, you don't have to have like a shelf with all this crap laying around on it.
Just go to it and click on it and open it up. It's right there. And I only have 7 subscriptions in there, but I don't need any. I don't need to. I don't need to have books and stuff laying around.
Yeah.
Get away. Nothing's worse than having books open on your desk, and then you push them off to the side. Next thing you know, you got 6 bottles of paint laying on them, a couple of containers, and a model box, your scrap wood, everything, and you're there. You go. Where'd that article go? Oh shit! I got to dig for it. I got to dig for it. They got stuff falling on the floor. None of that.
Right.
Boom! Right here. It's great.
Well, and you can zoom in and do whatever you can. Yeah, you can zoom in on the pages, or if there's a picture you want better detail on, you're not looking at a magazine where you can't zoom it in. You can do whatever you need to with it.
Right. And the other thing, yes, it tells you how-tos. Yes, it shows you advertisements like any other magazine that has the same ads in it that the magazine, if it came to your house, would have that same ad in it. Okay? They're all in there. The cool thing about those ads are, though,
you can click them.
You can click that ad from the mag. Isn't that cool? And it takes you to that company's website. And you go, you know what? I really like that model. Click that model on that ad. It takes you there, and it shows you the model. And you can buy it,
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. It's so easy. The digital age for us is upon us. Okay? We are always, year to year, and Brett can understand this because and many of you can too, but Brett works in this field or in this industry.
Right.
Okay. So you can appreciate how it grows every year, exponentially changes to where you have new cool things that come out to help us make our lives better.
Right.
If you're using it the correct way. And like I said, you can't beat that as a cool way to do it. I love the magazines, like I said. And the other part is these magazines and the books that I was telling you about on Google Books, those are highly detailed photographs. I mean, right. Highly detailed photographs. Some of the best modeling you'll ever see are in these books and magazines.
Well, and you're not doing, and you're with a digital version, you're able to zoom. Like I said a minute ago, you're able to zoom in on a highly detailed photograph much better than you would a magazine photo that's printed, and that's the limit of zoom on that thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then what do you get out of it, Brett? You're going to read it, and you're going to go, oh, this is how you do that. And this guy shows it step by step.
Right.
You're going to try it step by step. That guy's a freaking. Those guys are like amazing modelers. Okay, and so their step by step is we're going to look at it, and we're going to have to dissect it and figure out exactly how they did it.
Yeah.
Okay. But not more than that, more than the how-to step by step. Even if you're just freaking bored, you ever get to the workbench, you had it in your mind you're going to do something that day.
And you don't work at all?
You don't feel like working.
You just sit there and stumble through stuff?
Do my, just sitting there looking at the kit. Then you go to the computer and you pop up the magazine and you start reading it. You know what it does? The photographs and stuff from it
get you excited.
Inspire you. They inspire you. I look at it, I'm like, I want to do that. How did he? And it might not even be the whole model. I might see how mud is hanging off a tire, and go, how did he do that mud? It's the only part I want to do. I know how to build the damn thing. I want to know how he got that mud to hang on the tire. Well, let's see how he did it. It may be a how-to on how to do it. And if there's not, I can just look at the photograph and go, yeah, that's how it would look. I want to make it look like that. So it's a cool way to expand all of your modeling and to get reference for things too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a lot of stuff sitting around that you have, just wasteful sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
I think. But, yeah, that was my thing tonight.
No, it's good. I apologize. I didn't have more to talk about. I did get some buildings out when I moved the workbench and set my workbench back up. I did get some buildings out of the boxes.
Yeah.
I was looking over there, and I didn't place them anywhere. I just started messing around. You mess around with them on the layout.
Right.
I did that Sunday night, but that honestly was the most I did, and I did work on a little bit of the Westboro Sandhouse, but nothing that was worth any in-depth discussion here. But I do plan to work the rest of this week on the Westboro Sandhouse, and now that the rest of my week is freed up. But Monday and Tuesday we were busy, and then last night we had both girls had a friend, both the kids had a friend over for a sleepover, so you can imagine how that was last night.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was an interesting sleepover night. But
it's all right. Now
anyways, so that's what I've got. I don't know. Did you have any other things?
Not a lot right now. Basically, I think we covered a lot tonight. I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, next week we're going to record again, but I'm going to try to have a big update on the Westboro Sandhouse. I'm also working on, that is an update actually, I do have some news. I'm working on 2 YouTube videos right now. So before next week I will have 2, I should have 2 new YouTube videos up.
Oh, okay, awesome. I still have to do that.
I know.
I still have to do it.
That's okay.
I'm working on something else.
What?
We were talking about Lilo tonight. I'm not going to say who or what.
Oh, a guest.
But I'm going to be working on some guests over the next couple of weeks.
I miss having guests.
But we're going to start having guests again. So I'm already drawing up a list of some people. Some of them are going to be some repeat guests that we've had. Some of them will be brand new guests that we have not had, but that are into the structure building and things that we do, and that kind of line. We're going to have, I'm working on some military modeling guests and other modeling as well. So we're going to throw that out there as well. So I'm going to try and mix it up a little bit with modelers. I want to focus on a lot of the modeling things instead of, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having the manufacturer people on. That's great. But right now, I kind of want to focus on the modeling and the technique and stuff like that. So I think it'll be great to have some of those kind of guests on. And I'm working on that now as I was working on it this evening before we even got on. So
awesome.
Yes. So it's it's time for some guests. We were getting back into the roll of things. We ran a few now. What number are we on today?
192.
192. And like I said, it's 192. So it's we've had 5 or 6 of them now, and so it's time to start looking at getting some guests in. You're probably all tired of hearing our voices.
I'm tired of hearing your voice.
I figured you were. Yeah, but
no, it's good though.
Yeah, I'm excited about getting some of these people on if I get them to agree. But I usually don't get them to turn me down, so we'll see.
Nah, you'll get them.
But yeah, so I'll bribe some people and we'll get them on and well, yeah. Well, that was a good night. It was a little short and sweet. So we've been on for an hour and so.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So I don't have anything else really to add.
No, I'm good.
But I have been putting up on Facebook links to products that I've been buying or using to either enhance my work area or tools and things like that. Neat things that I found that work well for me on my workbench, and I have set them up. I just put up posts of some links to different products that you can find out there and where to buy them. So I'm going to start doing that a little bit more often. Maybe we'll set up a little, figure out how to set up one of those Amazon pages or whatever that takes you to our.
Yeah, they take 10
places.
seconds to set up.
Yeah, I'll let you do that because I'm not going to do that kind of shit. But yeah. So, but that's something I want to kind of get into as well. And so I started putting up stuff that I've had good luck with.
Yeah,
and,
well, I have a couple of blog posts written for the website, and then they're going to be accompanied by YouTube videos as well. So that is also coming soon.
Nice. That's sweet.
But I'm going to have them up before we record our next podcast. So.
That sounds awesome.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah. Good. We're getting back into things.
Yeah.
So.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining. Sorry, next week I'll have more to talk about. This week I didn't do a lot. I was on vacation until Sunday. So.
Well, we're 30 days away from football, or 28 days or something like that.
Like a month, yeah.
Yeah. So next week we'll have a football update. We won't just talk Oklahoma this time. We'll talk about all of college football.
We'll do an Olympics recap.
I'd rather not. You don't.
I'm just kidding.
Me there. So
what?
I'm having a good time with the Olympics, to be honest with you.
I like watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. But
all right, next week we'll talk about our favorite Olympic sport.
Yeah,
and our least favorite.
Right, we'll do that.
All right, that'll be good.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna love my take on judging sports.
Oh yeah, well let's save that for next week because I got a whole thing about that.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
Later.